Hello, this is a Canvas Essential tutorial in preparation for Spring Quarter 2024. My name is Paige Coleman and I am Canvas Faculty Support with Learning Technologies and Spaces. We are part of the Office of the Vice Provost for Student Affairs. Before I jump in, I'd just like to mention that if at all throughout this brief tutorial you have any questions, please submit a ticket to Canvas Help at stanford.edu. We have a highly responsive team, so I assure you your question, your ticket will not be lost. We will respond quite promptly. Again, that is Canvas Help at stanford.edu. Okay, let's jump in. If this is your first time navigating to Canvas, please type canvas.stanford.edu into your URL. We highly recommend that you utilize Chrome or Firefox as a browser, and please avoid Safari if possible. Also, if this is your first time accessing Canvas, please allow additional time to web authenticate. Once I enter canvas.stanford.edu, I'm immediately taken to my dashboard. At times, at the very top of the screen where you see my mouse circling, under the word dashboard and above published courses, there will be global announcements. I have currently closed all my announcements out, which is why they're not visible. However, we reserve this space for pertinent information only, so I encourage you to read the global announcements. They will appear as a box with an X. If you accidentally X out a global announcement, all is not lost. If you follow my cursor, we're now going to navigate to this global menu on the far left side of the screen, highlighted in red. I'm going to click on my account. And once I drag my cursor down here, I can see global announcements. Once I click on that, I may view my current announcements I may have X'd out, and I can also review recent announcements as well. Since I'm within my account, I'd like to review a few of these tools and features. I'm going to first click on Profile. This is my profile page. I'm dragging my cursor to the right side of the screen. I can click on these three dots, and then this is where my edit option lies. This is where I can upload my bio, my contact information, links. I can also upload my own picture or avatar. Once I place my cursor on the image icon circle, a pencil icon appears. I would click on that to upload or insert my image. It's also important to note here that students have the same capability within account and profile, and they can upload their own picture or avatar as well. But this is separate from the course ID photo on file with the registrar. I'm now going to navigate down to settings. And if you draw your attention to the right side of the screen under ways to contact, as you can see here, my Stanford email address remains my way to contact. We highly recommend that you keep your Stanford email address as the default way to contact. If you do not, it could create a barrier to entry for particular tools within Canvas. For instance, Zoom or Collaborations, which is synced directly to your Stanford Gmail account. You may add other ways to contact, but you would denote defaults by clicking on and highlighting the star for your Stanford email address. I'm now going to navigate to notifications. If you intend to communicate with your students through Canvas, we highly recommend you tell students to turn on notification settings for your particular course. They may do this by drilling down into your particular course through account and notifications and setting the preferences, which the frequency they'd like to receive a notification for a particular tool. For instance, announcements, I'm going to click on the bell, and these are the options available. You can remind students in class, but you could also put this in your syllabus as well, making them aware that you will be communicating with them through Canvas. If you notice at the top of the screen, there are these blue information bars. Sometimes they're orange or yellow, depending the tool or the feature that you're currently in within Canvas. But again, we urge you to take a few minutes to read these notification settings, announcements for this particular tool. Again, just like global announcements, and you may also see these within announcements in Canvas and other particular tools and features. But instead of blue, they may be orange or yellow or red. Okay, moving on. I'm now going to navigate back to my global menu and I'm going to click on Dashboard. We pull information from Access, so if you're scheduled to teach a particular course, a course card representing that course you're teaching will appear on your dashboard. If you do not see the course, please contact the registrar or your department administrator. Also, public courses are unpublished by default, and the unpublished courses are at the bottom of the screen. So if you don't see your course, please scroll down to view the unpublished courses. The absolute last thing that you should do is publish your course, and I will highlight that at the end. And that's after you thoroughly designed, developed your course, imported all your content into the course, and it's student-facing ready. I'm going to click on my Canvas Overview Session Demo course. Now, once I enter this course, I'm immediately taken to the syllabus view. This is the default view for your course. Whether you have a Canvas course or an external website, utilizing this tool in Canvas will help both prospective and enrolled students access course information. We actually conducted student interviews and student surveys, which told us much about the student experience in Canvas. Students communicated they've experienced frustration when the syllabi weren't in places they expected, such as this tool within Canvas, and students had wished that instructors used Canvas in a more consistent way for the student experience. It's much easier for the students to find course materials and manage their time for their coursework. Now, there is one exception with the syllabus tool. When you upload your syllabus to this tool, it feeds out directly to syllabus.stanford.edu. So it's accessible to all authenticated Stanford users with a valid SUNET ID even before publishing your course. You do have the option to restrict the syllabus access to those enrolled in your course. For instance, in this information box at the top, it says if you aren't ready, learn how to restrict visibility. Once you click on this, an article will appear with those steps on how to do so. I'm now going to go through the workflow for you of uploading a syllabus to this tool. You can add a single file only. When it says select a file from my computer, that will take the file from your desktop. Whenever you see course files, that's files that you've already, or content that you've already uploaded to files, and I will highlight that next. Or you can click this edit pencil icon or this edit pencil icon to upload your syllabus file as well. I'm going to click on the edit pencil icon. This rich content editor box appears. We refer to this as the RCE box, and this box remains consistent amongst other tools in Canvas as well. When I click on these carrots, it shows me I can add links, upload images, media. If I click on the three dots, it will expand the menu for the RCE box, but I'm going to click on the caret next to the document. Again, upload document is from your desktop. Course documents will be documents or content that you've already put in files. I'm going to upload a document from my desktop. Click upload document. I'm going to click on this rocket ship. I'm going to find my syllabus. I'm going to open it. However, it has not inserted itself yet. Once I scroll down, I must select the usage rights. In order for something to be visible to students and even publishable, you must select usage rights. Okay, I'm going to click submit after I select my usage right. A yellow toolbar will blink inside the RCE box, and then at the bottom I'm going to click update syllabus. Here is my syllabus. Again, if you have any questions regarding this workflow, please just submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I am now going to navigate to Files in my left-hand menu. Okay, so we highly recommend that the second best practice, the first being uploading your syllabus, the second best practice would be to bring over all your content for the quarter into Files. After doing so, it's much easier to further design and develop your course in terms of building out assignments and discussions and quizzes. To upload a file, I'm going to click the upload button. I'm going to find a file and click open. And as you can see here, a red exclamation mark appears next to the file. I must click on this, and it's reminding me to set my usage rights. I'm going to set my usage rights, publish, and save. If you have questions regarding copyrights and usage rights, please feel free to contact or look at the Stanford Library website or contact your department admin. Or submit a ticket. We have documentation as well. Submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. Now I can also create folders and organize my content within files. If you're going to do so, I recommend being consistent with the syllabus. It's a much easier, seamless view for the students. When creating folders, I'm clicking on the Add Folder rectangle at the top of the screen next to Upload. We highly recommend that you do not utilize dates. If you utilize dates, then all that content from a previous quarter, if you're going to import content from one quarter to another, and I'll highlight that workflow next, all those dates will then roll over and they'll no longer be relevant. And so it's going to create a lot of extra work because you're going to have to go back in and edit all those dates. So we recommend using unit numbers, weeks, project names, titles when you're creating folders. And that applies to many other tools within Canvas as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload a few files here now. You may be thinking, if I'm going to bring an entire quarter's worth of content into files, that's going to be an awful lot of clicking to manage and set my usage rights. But there is a hack here for bulk functionality. If you are on a Mac, press Command A. If you are on a PC, press Control A. As you can see, everything highlighted in blue, and this toolbar appeared at the top of the screen, which allows for bulk functionality. This button, the circle with the C in it in particular, is Manage Your Usage Rights. So I'm going to click on it now that everything is highlighted in blue. And here is where I can manage the usage rights for multiple files. Do not forget to scroll down and click Save. I can also delete content. I can move content around. I can download all the content as a zip in a CSV file. And I can manage access, which means I can lock down a particular document, a file, or even a folder between a specific day and time, so it's not accessible to the students within that window. And I can also view all the documents in a toggle screen one by one. Again, if you have any questions regarding files, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. Now let's say you want to import a previous content from a previous quarter into your current quarter Canvas course shell. I'm going to review that workflow now. I'm going to navigate to my menu on the left side of the screen. I'm going to scroll all the way down and I'm going to click Settings. Now, if you draw your attention to the right side of the screen under course status, I'm going to scroll down and click Import Course Content. Under Import Content, Content Type, I'm going to click the caret next to Select One, and then I'm going to scroll down and click on Copy a Canvas Course. In the Search for a Course box, I'm going to start typing in that course. Sometimes it takes a few seconds for it to appear. I'm going to click on it. Under Content, instead of clicking the radial button for all content, I'm going to click the radial button for Select Specific Content. We highly recommend Select Specific Content. I'm then going to read this orange box that's appearing here. This pertains to my particular demo course. But again, I'm going to take the time to read it whenever I see an orange information box with an exclamation point. I'm now going to click Import. And as I can see under Current Jobs, this course copy appears, but it's waiting for selection. So I'm now going to click on the rectangle box for Select Content. And this is where I go through and I select what exact content I would like to import over. I'm going to make my selection, and then at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to click on the blue rectangle box for Select Content. This job will queue up, and it shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. As you can see here, it's running. I'm now going to navigate back to my home page. I'd like to just review two more tools. I'm going to navigate down in my left-hand menu, and I'm going to click on Roster Photos. Roster Photos is only visible to the teaching teams. And students have the ability to navigate to Access and select their preferred pronouns and even record their name pronunciation. And when they do so, we pull that information into this Roster Photos tool. Mine is empty because this is my demo course, but the student's actual course ID photo through the registrar will appear for each student in this tool. And then you'd be able to click on that student's course ID card and view their preferred pronouns and also listen to their name pronunciation. This is a great way to familiarize yourself with the students in your course. You can also print the students' course ID cards as well. You would select name only or photo only to print. Now, something else to highlight here is the Download Roster button. We highly recommend you download this roster, which will provide you with a CSV file of the students' names and their email addresses. This is essentially a fail-safe. For instance, at any given time, there could be a disruption in communication or notifications within Canvas. We have encountered this in the past. So for instance, if you send an announcement and you yourself did not receive a notification, it's more than likely that that announcement was not deployed successfully. So if it's an urgent announcement and you've downloaded this roster, you will have the students' email addresses and names, and you could send them an email. Again, this is just a fail-safe, but we do recommend downloading the roster right when class starts and then right after the add drop period. I'm now going to navigate to the People tool. Again, the Roster Photos tool is only visible to teaching teams. The People tool is visible to all students. You can hide this tool. However, I do recommend that if your course is going to employ a lot of group, project-based, collaborative-based work, that you do keep this tool visible to students. Students will only be able to view name, section, and role. It is important to note, though, that there are other roles within Canvas. The observer role, librarian role, course content share role, or reviewer role will not be able to view the People tool. Teaching teams and students. I'm now going to navigate back to home. This was just a brief essential tutorial. We do have a much longer tutorial. It is a full basic Canvas overview session. It is about an hour long, and so I do recommend taking a look at that. We delve into creating announcements, assignments, and discussions. But again, if you have any questions, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm going to navigate back down to the global menu on the far left side of the screen, and I'm going to drag my cursor down to the help button with the question mark. You have options here as well. Please review your options, but if you click while you're working in your course, if you click on help in the global menu and then you click on request help from Stanford Canvas support, this is the same as submitting a ticket to us at canvashelp@stanford.edu. It goes to the same place. So this way, if you're working in your course, you don't have to exit your course or go to another screen. You could just submit your ticket here. One more thing I'd like to mention is our gocanvas.stanford.edu site. We update this site regularly throughout the quarter, so I do recommend that you take a look. In particular, as you're working through Canvas within news items. Here we'll update these news articles with pertinent Canvas information that pertains directly to us at Stanford, quarter updates, perhaps new tool updates. So I do recommend taking a look at news articles. This is also a great point of reference and referral even for other students or instructors. We do have a students tab with a plethora of resources for students in addition to the instructors tab. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you'd like to delve in more, please take a look at the hour-long Basic Canvas overview tutorial. I hope you have a wonderful spring 2024 quarter.